Welcome to Unbiased with Enito, where we go beyond the headlines to help you understand the real stories shaping Nigeria today. In this episode, we turn to the Northeast, where Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State has issued a chilling warning. Boko Haram and ISWAP are regrouping and reclaiming territory, with attacks and kidnappings now occurring almost on a daily basis. But this isn't just a local problem, it is a national crisis with serious implications for Nigeria's fight against terrorism, military credibility, and the safety of millions in the Sahelian belt. Let's break it down. Governor Zulum held a high-level security meeting in Maiduguri with military commanders, traditional rulers, and key stakeholders. He openly expressed concern over renewed Boko Haram attacks in multiple local government areas. Daily kidnappings with minimal or no response from security forces, dislodgement of military formation in Wajiko, Sabongari, Wugo, and Isge. Zulum described this resurgence as a significant setback in the fight against insurgency, saying Boko Haram has come again and now Borno State is losing its ground. He demanded more technological welfare support from the federal government, especially along Borno border with Chad, Niger, and Cameroon.
We also have to say the truth. Otherwise, all the gains that we have made so far will be a mirage. This is the main reason why we are here. We want to appeal to the federal government also to ensure that the northeastern part of Nigeria received the desired attention. It seems the focus of the Nigerian army and the focus of the Federal Ministry of Defense is not in the northeastern state of Nigeria.
This isn't just a local leader crying wolf. It is one of the most credible voices on Nigeria's front lines of terrorism, raising the alarm. Here is why it matters. Borno is the epicenter of insurgency since 2009. Boko Haram and later ISWAP have used Borno as a launchpad for their operations. Any loss of control here is a strategic and symbolic failure for Nigeria's counter-terrorism efforts. Military bases overrun when military outposts are overrun. It means civilians are left unprotected, terrorists gain access to weapons, vehicles, and intelligence. Morale among troops collapses.
The recent escalation of Boko Haram attacks across the state is a matter of utmost concern. There is urgent need for aggressive military action and actionable intelligence to counter the insurgency. The recent attacks on Sabongari, Dambwa, Wulgo, Baga, and Mongono point to the need to up our ante in confronting the Boko Haram insurgency decisively and swiftly. I call on our armed forces to not only mount checkpoints and guard our towns and villages. I also call on our armed forces to take the battle to the enemy. I also call on our armed forces to take the battle to the enemy.
Timing is dangerous. This resurgence comes just months into President Bola Tinubu's administration. And what it means is that it is putting the government under early pressure to prove its security strategy. Media twist. A false media headline suggested Minister of Information Mohammed Idris dismissed Zulum's concern. The minister denied this, calling the report a gross distortion. The clarification matters because public trust in government's communication is already low.
But I want to advise the communities to be resilient enough. I want to advise the Nigerian army to be resilient enough, because there's no way people will travel a distance of 700 kilometers to go to Damboa. Ordinarily, from here to Damboa is only about 100 kilometers. So I'm aware of what has been happening, but I believe the matters arising shall be dealt with, and then we shall strengthen the resilience of the community, but we shall ensure that movement from Maiduguri to Damboa should continue. This will not deter us from following the road. Urging the Nigerian military and all other security agencies to beef up security.
And as for Zulum's credibility, unlike some politicians who publicize and actually politicize insecurity, Zulum is respected across Nigeria for his hands-on governance and frontline leadership. His warnings tend to carry more weight, especially within security circles and humanitarian sectors. Zulum is, however, even angry visibly in a recent interview over the dismissal of his alarm by the minister. Despite several campaigns since 2015, the Boko Haram war is still raging. And here, the current state, the progress made in like cities of Maiduguri and some former strongholds have been reclaimed. But the new threat now is ISWAP is expanding, especially along Lake Chad. Rural communities are now bearing the brunt. Where government presence is weakest, kidnapping for ransom has become a major income source for insurgents. Zulum's message is clear. Don't get comfortable. We are sleeping again.
After the governor and our 8 emirs, all the service chiefs agreed that there is the need for him to come here, talk to those that matters in the area of security about the situation in Borno and the relapse and the such. And then the minister somewhere was saying that Nigerians should ignore Zulum. I felt very bad.
He said he did.
And this is part of what I call where you have kakitocrats in the system. If somebody knows what he's doing as a minister, he should be able to run to Zulum and ask for what he can do to assist him, not to just sit down in his comfort. And in fact, I even understand that he's out of the country when he issued that statement that the governor should be ignored. How can you ignore the chief security officer of the state?
Now, technological warfare, Zulum is calling for drones, surveillance tech, and satellite intelligence to help troops in hard-to-reach areas. More troops, better morale. The military needs reinforcements, they need incentives and support, especially for remote outposts that are vulnerable. Now, when we look at cross-border coordination, Borno shares with borders like Chad, Niger Republic, and Cameroon. Insurgents use these porous borders to regroup and re-enter Nigeria. A new regional alliance strategy is urgently needed, and the government must do something. A look at community-based intelligence. Locals know the terrain and the patterns of insurgents. Government must invest in local intelligence networks and not just rely on military might. Governor Zulum's alarm is not political, it is strategic. It's security-driven and it should not be ignored if Borno falls back into chaos. It could reignite a crisis that affects the entire Lake Chad basin, displaces more Nigerians, and stretches our already strained military. This is not just Borno's battle, it is Nigeria's fight. And the question now is, will the federal government respond boldly or allow history to repeat itself? Now, some have actually alluded to this by saying that it is when the North is not favored in government that issues like Boko Haram, insurgency, and other things actually pop up to paint the government in power in bad light. Do you think this is the case? And a lot of people are making reference to El-Rufai and Atiku and other northern political heavyweights who have actually been sidelined by the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. However, whatever be the case, the main question should be, why should a particular group of people suffer because of some political calculations and political sentiments and because of selfish interests? While at Unbiased with Eniton, we do not believe some of these allegations and counter-allegations that are being put forward by some interests of the divide. But what I would say to the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is that do not allow Boko Haram to consume Nigeria. Because a nation that has no peace, there is absolutely no way development can actually thrive. This has been Unbiased with Enito, and I remain yours truly, Oluwatobi Enito, saying bye for now.